Twitch are really lousy, and
Sure.
it doesn't let me upload. So, all right, this is Mr. Pod, episode 17. I'm with Brit Brady. That's
Yeah,
right.
you got it.
My memory serves, and that's at Brit_T_Brady on Twitter. You should follow him now before you listen.
Yeah, that's true. Or else you won't.
Otherwise, you'll either forget because you'll be passed out, like from how awesome this was. How are you doing?
All right.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. That's a very Gavanian kind of a reply.
I don't know. I'm good. I'm living the dream.
Living the dream, and the
Living the
dream
dream.
is just generally being creative.
Yeah. Except for I guess the poor part isn't
Oh.
really the dream.
Yeah, that's relative. I mean, compared to like somebody in a village full of dirt or whatever, you're probably pretty rich.
That's true.
But
That's true. First world problems. So.
Britt did the art and I guess sound for Charge Shot. I don't know why I blanked on it because I just said the name like 5 seconds ago.
That's right. It's because you don't care about me.
I don't. You're indie filth, and I like don't. I don't keep up with it at all. What's that game about?
It was a game that I actually made, and tried to program during a Ludum Dare. So it's just a local multiplayer game. Really kind of targeted for 4 players, and you jetpack, and you have a shot that's on a recharge, and then a deflection shield. So it's like you shoot and shield and fly around, and it's really fast paced, and all the levels change like the gameplay a little bit and move the bullets around all weird, and it's like hyper violent. But
It's local multiplayer. Is it like an instant kill kind of a thing where you win and then you move on, or?
yeah, it's like one hit kills, and there's currently 3 different game modes, except one isn't out yet. So there's like the survival, you have 5 lives, and then there's one where you collect coins, so you explode into coins, and the other players collect their coins, and if it's 4 players, you try to get to 100 coins first to win. But yeah, it's relatively simple. All the characters are the same, just aesthetic differences, and yeah, it's fast paced. It's similar to I don't know, Duck Game, Towerfall, Samurai Gun, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it seemed like for a while there, like everybody was making one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're definitely pretty easy. I mean, why I started it during Ludum Dare is because I had essentially stayed up all night making 3D art, and then my programmer the next morning was like, "Oh, my graphics card's dead." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll try to program."
Whoops.
And like, this way I don't have to do AI.
Yeah. No, that that actually makes a lot of sense. How long have you been like making games or working on games in any capacity? 'Cause I mean, I'm relatively new to this, and I have no idea.
Yeah, pretty recently, I'd say like 2 years now. I like messed around with pixel art when I was like in like 6th, 7th grade. And I thought I was really good then, but I'm pretty sure I was terrible. But I can't find any of that art.
So, how old are you now?
I just turned 29.
You really had to think about that really hard. So, I'm actually older than you.
You're 30, right?
Yes, I'm 30. I turned 30 in July.
Nice.
And everybody agrees that that's shitty and I should be younger.
Yeah, you should be younger. I'm pretty sure that means that like your indie success isn't going to happen because you're too old. Right.
I mean, while you say that, if it's in a line with typical success, which I guess you can't measure typical success against the indie people, but when I was young enough to have indie success, I didn't fucking have the ethic to do anything. Like I never want to be able to accomplish.
Yes.
Anything.
Yeah. Same. I was just thinking about like the year of unemployment I was on when I was younger, trying to find work, kind of, and I could have spent all that time doing something cool.
Yeah,
but instead I played guitar.
that I gotta say that thought definitely did cross my mind. Like, I always thought in the back of my mind, even before I was making games, like, man, I think it would be cool to get fired and then, have a year to really like do something I want to do, like make a game or whatever. I didn't really know at the time that that's what I would have wanted to do, but
Yeah.
it's a cool idea. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the bait, but
Yeah, definitely. Now it's like, well, now I have like my second kid and stay at home mom, wife, and it's like much harder to be doing what I'm doing right now, and but I'm doing it. um, and luckily, my wife's super supportive, but yeah, it's like a hustle constantly, like trying to find contract work and stuff.
yeah, is that primarily what you're doing? Is just kind of like in between these projects that you're working on for yourself, you're like picking up contracts.
Yeah, I painted houses for a number of years, and I'm trying not to do that. So it seems like more and more, especially lately, that um, I'm the jobs that I'm getting aren't even the ones I'm like applying for or looking for, but like people are coming to me and being like, "Hey, like somebody told me that you would be good for this."
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get the same emails I do that are like, I'm making the next big MMORPG and I need
Oh
you
my
to
god,
come work on it.
for
Now,
free.
there's no pay,
Yeah,
and I mean there will be pay because it's like totally revolutionary. There's like two kinds of orcs in this one, but yeah, I get those all the time, man. And like that's the downside. If there's a downside of being indie, it's that you get every 12-year-old with his MMO idea.
yeah, totally. I mean, so many times, like I might put up like a posting that's just like, no rev share, absolutely looking for paid work. Like, please don't hit me up
Yeah.
for non-paid work, and sometimes I'll just be like a real big dick about it in my posts, and still I'll get messages where people are like, um, will you do this for rev share? Like they think they just like, here's my idea, like hear me out, here's my idea, and
Yeah.
they all think that it's going to be successful, and they're going to do it in like a couple months. And
Yeah, here's the thing, kids. Ideas are worthless. Like
yeah,
there is
absolutely.
there's no monetary value on an idea
Yeah.
because unless you can actually execute the idea and like make the idea be from an idea to something good,
Uh-huh.
uh, there's no idea that's actually worth money anymore.
Yeah, and speaking of that, it's interesting like looking on Reddit game dev classifieds where people are like, I can't, it's an RPG game and with a story driven narrative and some really really special game mechanics that have never been done before in an RPG. I can't really talk about it on here,
It's a
but
secret.
once we sign you up, we can go over it.
They would lose me by saying RPG game because that's fucking redundant and terrible.
Yeah,
You want to help me make a game? What does that mean?
yeah,
I guess an RPG game would be like a game about RPGs. Uh,
an RPG game.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's like a triple.
Mm-hmm.
Role playing game.
Role playing game.
Game,
Mm-hmm.
game. You never see people say like FPS shooter, so I don't know why you see RPG games so often.
Yeah, I think because they don't really know what it means. But I
Yeah.
think it's like the 15-year-old kids that are like, I don't have any money to pay you. But over the summer, I took a C sharp class or a Java class, and I modded Minecraft, and I'm gonna make an RPG game.
Now, I'm a big fan of anime, and I have ideas with like the pointiest hair you've ever seen. Like, the hair will be so pointy, but I can't really tell you exactly how pointy, or somebody will rip it off.
They do love pointy hair.
Yeah, super, super pointy. But you know what? I actually do like anime, and there are a bunch of people that like if you say anything negative about anime, they attack you. like like somehow liking anime is like a religion.
Yeah.
And like I said the other day, that typically in anime you don't get really like quality character design because everybody kind of looks the same. And that doesn't make it bad. And you know,
Yeah.
you have the outliers like Cowboy Bebop, you know, where everybody's like wildly different looking, except the women who all look identical.
Yeah, the cute women in anime, they're all the same.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're all the same person.
They
Well, you
are.
have two types. You have like the tough, like real hot, like small-breasted tough chick who's always like talking about like how she wishes her boobs were bigger, but she's like a total badass. And then you have like the really cute dumb one, and they all those look the same.
Yeah, and you know, throwing cat ears on them or whatever, that's really not what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So it's hard for some people, I think, to disassociate their fandom from like reality.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's I mean I like anime too, and I like to try to find the less anime ones, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
so you like anime, do you? Why don't you name some anime that you like?
Lately I've been watching Space Dandy, and that's the Cowboy Bebop people, I think, the same studio.
I considered it. Somebody was talking about it, probably you, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Is this good?" And then crickets. Like nobody fucking told me if it was good or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, it's good. It's really weird. It's real stupid too. Like the main character's stupid. Um, but it has really cool colors and cool animations and like some pretty weird stories and cool alien planets. What else did I watch? I just watched The Devil is a Part-Timer. That was a pretty weird one.
Never heard of that.
Basically, Satan comes into Japan, Earth, present time, and like works at essentially McDonald's.
Yeah, that's another thing that's weird about anime. Is like, oh, and like Doctor Who as well. Like anime and Doctor Who have this in common. Why the fuck are all these aliens going to these fucking irrelevant places? The USA is where they would go.
Yeah,
The greatest country
naturally.
on earth.
Naturally. Yeah, but they're all so really funny because you'll see some animes are like really kid friendly and like Studio Ghibli stuff. I'd watch with my family, but sometimes I think I found an anime that is like family or child appropriate.
Yeah.
And you can be like 45 minutes in, and then all of a sudden somebody's just like honking boobs, and objectifying women.
You
somehow.
said Studio Ghibli, but then you're like, yeah, Ghibli's good, and then you like put on Mononoke in front of your family, and it's like, hey, that arrow just lopped an arm off. What
Yeah,
the
totally.
fuck is happening?
Yeah, totally.
So I just don't think they have the same values. They're just like, that's all fine. I think it's because they're not allowed to own actual guns, so they
Yeah.
have to get their cravings out. Otherwise,
I just watched Beyond the Boundary, which was really good. That was a pretty sweet one.
no idea. You're naming all this shit I don't know. You know what? I watch Berserk over and over, and I try
Nice.
and model my life after it. And that's that's the one I really like. That's the one that I wish that it didn't end the way that it did. I wish that it didn't go as crazy as it did, and I wanted it to go on forever.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like Final Fantasy Tactics as an anime. Well, I guess it would be reversed because Berserk was first.
Hmm.
And that's the kind of story I like the political intrigue and like, I guess it always turns into some giant demon. I don't know.
Yeah. Always.
I don't know why.
It was like 17 dicks.
I don't know why the tentacles had
17
to come
peaks.
out.
But I'd say probably my favorite like anime TV series is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that one. That
Which
was
was
really
the
good.
remake that they did because the original was not true to the manga, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
manga.
Totally.
I don't even know how to, like, you said Ludum Dare earlier. I've never heard anybody pronounce it the same way. Like,
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be Ludum Dare. But I think most of the time it's just called Ludum Dare.
which is,
Which
it's
makes
like
sense.
probably Latin for something, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's like makes. It means like makes something. I don't know. I'm probably totally wrong there. Or like just do it. Nike swoosh.
Just do it.
Um,
Yes, you just sealed them getting a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, but anime's cool. I've been trying to like have that inspire my game dev
Yeah, just
more lately.
don't have it inspire your character design,
No, not at all.
because then it will be boring.
Kirby is the only thing that inspires my character design.
Yes.
Kirby's
Uh,
perfect.
Is that why everybody that you make has a sprite animation of them inhaling, like really loud, really heavy, like giant mouth inhale?
Uh-huh.
All the attacks in all your games, including Charge Shot, are inhaling based.
Yeah, you're just Kirby. Just four Kirbys.
Let's make that game. I want to. I want to make a game about gluttons. It'll be local multiplayer because that's the lazy, easy thing to do. It'll just be people trying to eat each other.
Well, you could be lazy right now and make a local multiplayer game, but you decided to do networking.
Well, that's already done. I mean,
Nice.
I work. Actually, the people I'm working with on this now, and the people I would like to work with in the future, I work with at my real job, and it's like everybody's a networking programmer. That's just like what we do.
Oh, cool.
So,
So they've been helping you?
that's the easy part,
Nice.
really. The hard part is that we've never made games before. So, you know,
So are they just doing all the back end stuff? All the networking while you do all the regular game dev stuff? Or are they helping with some of that?
I feel like I've misrepresented what I'm saying. Like, we all kind of do the same thing,
Oh, okay.
but that's like the wheelhouse.
Hmm.
And honestly, like before a year ago, the whole like animation thing and like characters and sprites and shit, like that wasn't me at all. Like I painted in college.
Uh-huh.
That was my art. But
Yeah, I mean, I had done sound and music stuff for so long, up until like 2 years ago. I was doing music stuff so much,
the
like,
sound of music.
yeah, like 6 hours a day at least after I'd get home from work, like all the time, obsessively, and then I just got really bored. And really uninspired from.
I'm just picturing you spinning through a field.
You,
The hills
What?
are alive.
looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good in your mind, doesn't it?
No, I don't know. Am I missing you on the Sound of Music reference?
Well, here's the first Shia LaBeouf, or however you say his name reference.
I think it's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, everybody thinks I look like him.
Yeah. Well, that's because he
You
got
do.
like beat up by a woman,
Oh,
and
nice.
then he grew a beard to hide his shame. I don't know if any of that's true. I just
And he grew a rat tail.
I'm like the third hand information guy. I heard somebody that heard somebody. So
Nice.
now I'm pretty sure I could have beaten him up before, but that guy's pretty huge now.
Yeah, and probably on a lot of expensive drugs.
Oh yeah. Workout drugs.
Ooh, working out. Yeah, we can talk about that because I just started doing that again.
Working
you've been-
out.
And you've been working out, huh?
Fuck all that, man. I'm just gonna be like super pudge machine all the time for the rest of my life.
Dude, no, we're all gonna be really buff. We're gonna hang out with Bandy Grass, and we're gonna be pixel artists that are really buff, and we're gonna change the stereotype. We'll be like, fucking pixel artists, fucking
Yo.
meatheads.
Pixel Bros. That's what it's all about. Yeah, Sandy was a shocker. I mean, all I knew about him before that is that he's like 4'8", and
Is that confirmed, or is this just your ongoing
I think he's
idea?
actually 3'6". I know that he moved to Japan so that he could be closer to average height. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna choke. No, Sandy's good people, but I know he's not a tall man. I'm such
But
a
man,
fucked
but
up
he can,
person. This is
but
like a nice guy, and I do nothing but say terrible shit about him all the time.
but he can squat a 7 foot man.
Yes, a 7 foot, really thin man. But no, I mean, you want to go on working out, and the reason why is I don't know, something about having a young child makes you just really not ever have energy for anything.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
went from being like 6'1", 180 to being like 215 in a few months. Like it was like fast. I had no idea that it was happening.
Yeah.
And so when I got on the scale, I was like, "Damn, it's time." So I'm pushing through the laziness, and I'm finally getting it back. I'm finding that like I think it just drains your testosterone. Maybe it's just having a little girl or something, and I became less manly, and
Yeah, that could be it.
we're working it out.
Yeah, I gained a bunch of weight when my wife was pregnant, like sympathy weight gain or whatever. And then I was like, oh fuck. And then I started working out like crazy, and then I launched my game, and it was a total failure. And then I stopped,
Shit.
and I gained even more weight, and then now I'm ready to turn my life around by
Yeah, you're
going to
talking
the
about
gym.
Charge Shot.
Yeah.
Charge Shot, I don't think was a total failure. I mean, I understand what you're saying,
Hmm.
but I've seen people that have worked for like years and like really thought this is it. Like I'm about to change my life, and they
Yeah.
released their game, and it was like 100 copies,
Yeah.
and that's all forever.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I guess our investment was pretty small. We probably only had about 3 months of development time into it. So so just given that, I guess it was successful. But
Yeah,
um,
and that's a thing. Is like games typically don't just stop selling. So
mhm,
I think I'd recommend to anybody that's interested in doing like a short cycle like that, just make the
mhm,
next one. Like don't stop
yeah,
because you could stack it up. Eventually, nothing kind of becomes something.
yeah, and that's what I was kind of figuring. Um, like I don't really want to do my next game to be super huge. Like
Yeah,
I don't like I would rather have like something in our account, like a good chunk in our account before we move forward into doing something big. And I think the best way to get that money is smaller games that don't take much time. So like low overhead and then a quick turnaround.
those all sound like business words.
Yeah, I just think about business all the time now, honestly. Um, since then, like getting ready for that, like,
Yeah.
and then post that, like trying to, because I pretty much did all of the marketing and business development and like emailing and all that for the game. And
Well,
that was weird.
I kind of have an interesting problem. I mean, and a lot of people, I think, going into indie dev, they come in from various climes, and if I was just coming out of college and didn't have anything, my measure of success would be much lower. But as it is now, I've been a software developer professionally for like 8 or 9 years, and in order for me to even give a shit about anything, like I have to do so much better than because I'm not going to be able to quit my job unless I sell like 100,000 copies of whatever I'm making.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, I mean, it'd be a nice bonus on top
Yeah.
of that, but people are always like, "You should go full time." It's like, yeah, that's great and all, but I have a mortgage and a family,
Hmm.
and for some reason, people like eating food. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. And for me, when I'm getting paid on time and everything's working out, I'm making slightly more money than I ever have. But like with the new baby and my wife staying at home, my bills are like 3 times more expensive.
Yeah.
So like it feels kind of worse.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of have to rob people in order to live.
Yeah, totally.
That sounds like a good career, actually. Like if you
We're,
could
we're gonna edit
guarantee,
that part out, right?
if you could guarantee that you wouldn't get caught ever and never get your retribution, do you think you
Mhm.
would just rob people all the time? Like I always wonder that. Like, is there really morality, or are we all just afraid of going to prison?
I don't know. Maybe the ideas of prison and just movies and shit have perverted our thoughts. Like, what maybe if there wasn't all that
There's
law,
no
it'd just be
downside.
really
You live
nice.
in the forest with all your buddies up in a treehouse,
Sounds like a dream.
and then you just like gallivant out to the road.
Mhm.
Somebody's coming by with a bunch of gold bars for whatever reason. That's the life right there. I mean, that would be the shit.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. That's really what I want to do. I want to live in the woods with like barely anything, but then I just want one room with like 7 50-inch TVs and like really fast Wi-Fi. And I'll just like chop wood like 6 or 7 hours a day, and then I'll just come in there, and then I'll just like game dev, and I'll have like one of those chairs like in Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up because, like, my family is so hella country. Like, you have no idea. my Everybody in my family is a farmer except for me. And they're like, "Oh, you should come, live for cheap out where we live." And it's like, "Do you have fiber optics?" No. Well, then no. I'm not gonna do that because the latency on fucking satellite internet is terrible.
Yeah. The What's really bad is the internet in Colin's room. So we work out of Colin's house, and pretty much as soon as you get into his room, like you walk through the threshold, which is like our office too, and it stinks. Um, the Wi-Fi just like pretty much cuts out.
Gross.
So like I'll be working on something, I'll have to send something to somebody over the internet, so I'll like be at my desk, plugged into my stuff, then I'll unplug and go into the living room where his roommate lives and get on the internet real quick, and then that's still pretty bad.
Ugh. Sounds like college.
Yeah. Well, it's he lives like on campus. And they're not college kids, but he lives on campus, and like it's just a college kid building, and everybody shares the same Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
Hmm.
When I was in college, we called those people townies. And you'd
Well,
always see townies at the bar. You could identify them because they clearly were just like not the same. They looked a little different. They were a little shadier,
mhm.
kind of lurking on the college girls.
Well, I mean, they are college age. They're just not college.
No, no, no. You could tell. You could look them in the eye and say, "This guy doesn't belong." He's driving a Hyundai. The jig is up.
How cool is everybody saying butthole in the chat?
Yeah, I think Senor Goat Floppist is really fucking things up.
Is it the slain guy?
No, actually, he's not here today. Which, if he was here, can you like just not be mean to him, please?
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I think his game looks really sweet. Like,
Yeah, totally. And you can tell he's a good artist, and you're not just gonna
yeah.
shit all over his
Well,
dreams.
his animations are insane. Like, I couldn't imagine like the time it must take. I
Yep.
couldn't imagine doing it. Like, I just couldn't imagine making his game because it seems like it would be hard.
Yeah, time consuming for sure. Because
Yeah,
you'd have to first learn how to like
be an artist.
be super fucking metal about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. No, no, his game seems cool. He's cool. Whatever.
Yeah, sure, he's cool. He's cool. Don't wanna.
But I get rat caskets thing about it being noisy, but whatever. Like, I think it's fine. It's cool. It's a style.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like game art isn't necessarily game design.
Yeah.
Like you can have great art and it's not like optimal design,
Hmm.
and that's fine. I mean, some games can just be really artsy looking, but
Yeah. It looks like it feels good too. I mean, I haven't played it, but
yeah. Well, there's
looks
just
like it feels
something.
good.
There's just something to be said. Having things read really well is good game design.
Hmm.
Um, but who gives a shit? We're all indies here. We don't care about things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there's so many people that just are making things that I'll never make anything as good as that. um, but I try not to think of that and just do what I want and have
Yeah,
fun.
hell yeah.
Hmm.
Do what you want because that's indie.
Yeah.
That's indie as fuck.
Dude, I'm indie as shit, dude.
So fucking indie.
You know how many times I ate ramen noodles for lunch last week?
Oh my god, that's so indie. I'm not indie at all. I've got like
I had a
backwards
steak
Cheerios.
breakfast. I had a Texan steak breakfast.
Oh,
My
gross.
with my web
Actually, you
development
know what the
money.
fucked up thing about what you just said is? I had steak for breakfast today. Like, I asked my daughter what she wanted to eat. She really she's got two favorite foods. It's blueberries and steak. And this time she said she wanted steak.
Smart.
So we cut up some of the steak that I grilled the other day, and I made like steak burritos with really high quality steak.
Nice.
I know you combine like burritos with something high quality, and it's like, what's the point?
I had half a waffle dipped in whipped cream for
Have a
breakfast.
have a waffle cooked on the hood of your car. I shouldn't be making fun of that.
That's funny.
I'm sure there's somebody here who's hood cooking and is like super fucking mad.
It's funny during one of our low points, and like we were really broke, and I go over to Colin's house. He's just on the couch eating a can of cranberry sauce, like
Oh,
just that with a fork.
I didn't
And
even think people bought that shit.
I'm pretty certain. I don't think he did. I think he got it at a food bank, and I'm pretty certain
An
that
indie
that
food
was
bank.
the only thing that he ate that day.
It's like homeless people are coming in and they're like, no, this is for indies. Sorry, you can't have any of our food. This is indie
Yeah.
food.
You just drop off can donations at the arcade or something.
It's like all this
instead of the
garbage
church.
food and then like bottles of balls. You remember balls? Do people still drink that? It's like a beverage marketed to gamers.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
I did just drink a Surge for the first time in like 10 years the
are
other
you
day.
one of these people that ordered them on like Amazon?
No, somebody brought it back from the East Coast for me, but it was from 2014 still, but they found it in a store, just in a regular store at a regular price.
Please, sir, may I have some cranberry sauce? It's all I've ever wanted. Yeah,
I was like,
when I was in college, which I know he's not in college, so the story's kind of pointless, but I would just go, it was back when Little Caesars started coming back. You remember Little Caesars? You ever
yeah,
eat- you ever-
totally.
yeah.
They're still
So,
around.
so they had those $5 pizzas,
Uh-huh.
and I would just grab one of those for breakfast and then eat it for the rest of the day.
Uh-huh.
And that was
It's like all plastic.
that was like every day. I would just eat that, and then I would like shit something that doesn't look shit colored, and then go on to the next day. But yeah, the university I went to was massive, and I walked everywhere, so I was in like great shape, eating nothing but just plastic garbage pizza.
Yeah, and you're young, so your
Yeah.
metabolism. It's like once you like get past like 25, things just start changing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's pretty well documented. I got shingles last year, and
Nice.
it was just like, hey, I got this disease that typically only really old people get. Like, maybe it's time to slow down a little bit.
It's all that steak breakfast.
Steak for breakfast. Actually, I don't think it was from that, because I don't think we were
Yeah.
doing that. Steak has been kind of a new thing in our lives because my wife is pregnant, and the last
Craving
time
it.
she was pregnant, yeah, all she wanted was mashed potatoes. So we ate mashed potatoes like every meal, some different form, mixed with something else. Mashed potatoes.
Something weird.
Yeah, it's almost like baby food. You just like get some vitamins and you mash it up in the potatoes and then feed it to the monster. But this time, she wanted steak so badly that I went and bought a nicer grill so I could grill steak more often and better. So that's like all we're eating. I go buy steak twice a week and we eat it all week.
Nice.
If it sounds awesome, it's because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it sounds really awesome. Yeah, every once in a while, if I have the money, I just break down and buy like a single steak and a pint of ice cream, and
One
just like
steak.
just shame myself.
A steak and a cranberry sauce. And
Yeah.
you cut it up and you mince it together. Then you
I'd rather starve than eat cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I thought it was like just one of those things that for the holidays people just had at the store, but I didn't realize people actually bought it and ate it.
Yeah, same. Or like, you put it out on Thanksgiving, but you don't eat it. It's
Nobody
just
eats it.
there.
Yeah, it's like a decoration. You might as well put a wick in it and
Hmm.
like burn it because it's garbage.
Yeah.
Why? Again, there's probably somebody who's like, "That's my favorite thing."
Hmm.
I have no idea. I don't know where it comes from. I've had people ask me about it because I guess it's like an American stereotype that we eat that.
And nobody else does.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's poisonous.
Yes, we eat nightshade sauce come holiday. The essence of nightshade.
Mm.
And those that survive propagate the next generation.
No, I can't imagine that any farmer has just a cranberry farm.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like subsidies that you get for, I guess, growing shit
Growing shit.
that, like basically for not growing tobacco, you get subsidies.
Hmm.
Because tobacco is such a good cash crop. They're like, okay, well, we'll have to start paying people for growing corn.
Yeah.
And then the corn people took over everything, and now, like, our fuel has corn in it somehow.
Yeah, I'm originally from Illinois, and like everything is corn. We're surrounded by corn there. It's just cornfield, and like I'm pretty sure none of it's really edible. Like it's all that weird rock hard corn that they like make into liquor and like
And
feed to animals and stuff.
yeah, and ethanol.
So you go to the store to buy corn for a meal, and it's like from Kentucky or like a totally different state, even though we're completely surrounded by it.
You don't want to eat that corn. You bite into it, and it just, like, breaks all your teeth off.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds like my kind of corn. A man's corn.
So how's the 3D transition
Oh,
going?
yeah. That's big news, I guess.
Hmm.
In that it started happening like 2 days ago. And I'll tell you one thing. If you start developing any kind of a following for pixel art, which you have, and then you decide to turn that pixel art into 3D art, people are not going to be happy. There's going to be a mix because there's going to be people that are like, "Oh, kind of cool," and there's going to be people that are like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, switch immediately, or I'm going to send bombs to your house."
Or I will unfollow you.
Yes, but that's the worst. They unfollow me, and then I don't have a person that doesn't have enough money to buy a game anyway following me.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem with Twitter. Like, you can have as many followers as you want on Twitter, but it seems like that's a demographic of really cheap people that won't buy
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it seems to be that. You like see some game that just gets so much hype on Twitter, and then it comes out, and you look at Steam Spy, which, from my experience releasing a game on Steam and looking at my own game, is pretty accurate, pretty close, pretty ballpark. Um,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
great. I mean, they take a small sample, but then they extrapolate the data from that. It's pretty scientific. As much shit as they get, they're pretty accurate.
Yeah, and you see these games like not selling anything now, and it seems like, especially 2015, there was like a big change in sales on Steam.
Maybe. I mean, there's something to be said. Like, you seem to see cycles of it happens in every industry where somebody is successful, and then
Mhm.
everybody copies that, and those people are successful. But the
Yeah,
copies of the copies are typically not very successful.
yeah, that's
And,
true. I mean, there's tons of garbage out there right now.
yeah, but when somebody makes something like truly unique and great, it still seems to do well.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
But
like Punches Bears is going to be a millionaire
yeah, somehow I don't know how that's going to work out. Other than
if it
gifts.
ever turns into a game.
Yeah,
If the
yeah.
skips turn into a game.
I mean, it's cool physics-based animation.
Yeah,
I almost wonder if he shouldn't just like say fuck it and convert it into like an Angry Birds type of game where you just launch bears with chainsaws, and I don't know what their enemy would be.
yeah. It seems like you could do a lot with that.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, just the weird physics thing.
get him to collect honey,
Mhm.
uh, and wear red shirts.
But I mean, I feel like even like Kuro Blaster, which is like such a good game that I love so much, that came out on Steam last year, which is Pixel's game. So he did Cave Story, and like I
Yeah,
feel like it didn't even do that good, and he's like famey.
Yeah, I don't think the fame is worth as much as it used to be. I think people are starting to get just like sick of it. And there's also something to be said about once you've been successful, people don't feel obligated anymore to like pretend like you're the greatest, you know? Like
Yeah,
up to a certain point, everybody's rooting for you, and then once you actually attain success, people are like,
I
"Okay,
hate you.
but now you better be doing good shit or else."
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about the clones, but then at the same time, like certain kind of clones, like I feel like crafting clones still make some money.
Yeah, Sims, especially like
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of people started making like Dwarf Fortress likes and making them, slightly better, and adding actual graphics. And
Hmm.
those games seem to do just much better than I would assume that they should do.
Yeah,
But I apparently I don't have my finger on the pulse because I just don't get it.
yeah. I've come to the conclusion that the people that buy games are like not me and the people that I hang out with.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. Like I'm not really an indie person, like in that I don't go to meetups. Most of the people I know they don't even know what Hotline Miami is, which is one of the more successful indie games. It's like I ask people about Phil Fish and they don't know who that is,
Hmm.
and I didn't, a couple years ago. It's like so. Uh, I have a pretty good barometer about what people are actually playing just by virtue that I see normal people buying games as opposed to like indie people.
Yeah,
But it's so weird because it's almost like you can make a good game, but you don't want to make it too good because then you lose the indie crowd completely, and then you're being judged against AAA.
yeah. That's a weird thing, isn't it? It's like a weird zone.
Yeah, like pixel art is great because you know that you're not going to make pixel art that looks competitive with AAA. So when people look at it on Steam, they're like, "This is great indie thing." But if you go with like vectors or you go with like HD art that's actually really good,
Hmm.
people are going to look at it and they're going to say, "I don't know, Call of Duty did it better," and then you're not going to be competitive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that in a different way is exactly what happened with Ouya as a console. Not the games, but as a console, it was getting compared because it was like, this small hardware device. It was getting compared to Xboxes and PlayStations, which wasn't what it was intended for. That's like not the idea.
Yeah, yeah, but they had that boost where they, I guess, surpassed the expectations they had initially.
Uh-huh.
And because of that hype, people just started ignoring them because they weren't rooting for them anymore. They were like, well, that's too cool now, so we don't care.
Hmm.
And I was going to buy one, until, yeah, I mean, until it actually got like, why?
Yeah,
Like, I can play these games on my phone probably, so I don't really see the point. It was a weird idea for a console.
totally. I think, yeah, there was definitely a lack of good games on there, but there was also some really good games on there. And as a device, so me and Colin made a game in like 2 days and put it out on there just to test, like a free game, called Sumo Pucky, and it's basically just like bumper boat sumo wrestling. Um, and it was really easy to develop for, and we made the game in 2 days and then had it up and on the Ouya store in like a day.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah,
Clearly, the signal of success there was that they had time to review and push your game through in that amount of time. So,
yeah,
but the one thing I compare it to, for whatever reason, is the Dreamcast because it was just such like a cool little thing that
hmm,
the people who had them just loved them to death, and the people who like developed for them just loved them to death because there was so much promise.
hmm.
Like I put Linux on my Dreamcast.
Nice.
You could do anything with that.
Yeah,
And
somebody.
but
Yeah, yeah, I know that like people like they encouraged people to like mod them and hack them if they wanted and kind of do whatever they wanted, which I thought was really cool.
yeah,
And somebody's talking about the garbage controller in there, and yeah, just kind of garbage, but like at the same time, it's like you can get one for like $25 or something, you know, on top of your Ouya or like less. So like where an Xbox 360 controller is like $60, Um, and at the same time, you can just plug in an Xbox 360 controller to the Ouya and it will work, which is what I usually did.
Yeah, when I found out I could use my Wiimote to control my phone, and that's when I knew I was good to go.
Nice.
That's a thing, by the way. Google it.
That's sweet. I want to make games with Wiimotes.
Yeah, just the Wiimote on the phone, though. Interestingly enough, have you allegedly ever tried the Dolphin emulator?
I haven't, huh?
It's a Wii and GameCube emulator. It's probably the most polished emulator I've ever used, but using a mouse instead of a Wiimote is so much more natural. With Wii games, is so much more enjoyable experience to where I would never. I once I got Dolphin, I threw my Wii out. I started just playing. Yeah, I started playing games with the mouse because it's just so much more natural. Of course, that's how I feel about everything that you can use a mouse with or keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you were talking about some games on one of the podcasts I was listening to, like Nuclear Throne. You're like, how do people play that with a controller?
Yeah,
I am way better on a controller with that.
I can't
And I think
imagine.
that's just like twin stick stuff. I love twin stick. Like Hotline Miami, I play with a controller over a mouse. I think it's just like getting used to it. But anytime I can use a controller over a mouse, I'm all about it.
Yeah, but a mouse. I mean, there are natural drawbacks to a controller in that you can't possibly move it as quickly or as precisely as a mouse, given practice. And
Yeah.
so that's why people don't play first-person shooters. Like, you never see somebody on Steam being able to play against somebody on Xbox because they would destroy them. Like, it wouldn't be fair at all.
Yeah, I think in most cases, but at the same time, I feel like you can move your character around better with a joystick than you can with WASD, like faster and more control that way.
Yeah, but the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Ouya got bought by Razer, and they have like the Forge TV come out, and so we were just like porting to that, and those controllers are like pretty good. Here's one of those. It's like a lot like an Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah.
I just got these weird buttons that are kind of cool and clicky. Here.
Let the jury note that Brit is sitting on a ball.
Yeah, I'm sitting on a That's why I'm moving like this.
Is that your normal computer chair?
Yeah, it's so much better. Once I made the switch, I'll look at my mouse too. Like I'm just trying to do whatever I can to like make my body better.
What on earth is that?
See, you hold it like your hand in a normal resting position
Is
instead
this
of like this.
is this Minority Report?
And I have like a keyboard from like 2007. That has like really big keys.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe it's older than that. I don't know.
I actually bought like a Chinese gaming keyboard with a reinforced spacebar.
Nice.
And I don't know why I had to mention that it was Chinese, but because I'm indie now, and everybody has so much jumping in everything that they make, and I like to jump with the left-handed controls.
Nice.
I've broken 2 space bars in the last year.
That's weird.
Yeah, isn't it? Because I guess I push them too far to the side. So I got one that's better.
I've broken a bunch of Xbox 360 controllers, like usually the generic ones, just by like one of them. I was playing Samurai Gun and I just snapped the tab of this in half, like tab of the joystick. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, give me the 2-button NES controller over any of that. I like that square feeling that really digs into your hand and lets you know when you've been playing too many games.
Mm-hmm. PB asks, what video game has most affected me and why? Well, this is so regular questioning. Can we just talk about pains?
It was Sybil.
I don't know. Oh God, no.
Oh God, no! That's an extreme reaction.
That's the oh shit. That's the game that just came out, right?
With the boobs?
Yeah, I just saw her today in person, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell her
Um,
I'm a big fan. And hold
um,
your hands up like this when you say
uh,
it.
it looks like I mean, I'm sure she's very talented and does some cool stuff. I just don't really like games like that.
You mean
Um,
shitty games?
trying to be as nice as possible.
We're
Yeah,
not nice on Mr.
well,
Pod. Nobody watches anyway. Say whatever you want.
she probably won't watch this. And she lives in Portland. She was just down here. My friend was doing like a game thing at the university, and we were showing off our game, and she was like a speaker person.
A talker. Big talker.
Oh, I don't know. I really like. I know that's hard. PB. I mean, in most recent years, I really like Hotline Miami, and I really like Downwell was really awesome. Hero Blast. There's a lot of good games last year. Hero Blaster, Grow Home was awesome last year. I don't know. I just like good games.
Yeah, Hotline Miami. Now I never played it because I'm not a filthy indie, but it reminds me in the way that it looks and what I understand about it. It reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto 2.
Yeah, totally. It
With
totally looks like that. It doesn't look good.
well,
The
I
graphics
don't
are
think the
good,
goal
really.
is to look good because when you make like a straight top down perspective like that, you're
Uh-huh.
doing it for the gameplay, not the. You're a
Yeah.
designer, not an artist.
Yeah, and the gameplay is really good, and really fast and really crazy. Um, uh, actually, I do like Zelda a lot, PB, but like, I don't know, like Ocarina of Time, get that Hyrule feeling. That one was pretty sweet. That was like the first time I felt like I was in a big wide world in a video game.
Yeah, with a
And
horse.
I remember when it came out and just like I couldn't afford it yet and I would just watch my friend play it every day until I could get it.
I gotta say that was N64, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario 64. I mean, Mario in general. Like every time a new console comes out, up until I guess recent consoles, Mario always fucking crushes it, man. Mario 64 was just so much crazier than like any game that existed before it.
Yeah, I mean it feels really good for a 64 game. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
detail in the movement.
yeah, and talk about big. It's like so many giant worlds inside of a giant world for the time, anyway.
Hmm.
And then they focused on things like sliding mechanics so that you could race penguins correctly.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just like I can't say enough positive things about that. But most people growing kids these days, with their Minecraft, they don't they don't understand the massive leap forward that really was.
Yeah. That's a weird thing too, just like Minecraft and like how my son pretty much only wants to play sandbox games. Like he just wants to play
Yeah,
Gary's Mod in Minecraft.
that's so
And like I
weird.
don't.
No, I get it. I mean, it's like, especially, I think it's almost good as like a learning tool or a creativity kind of a tool because you've got, all these possibilities. It's like infinite Legos.
Yeah, I mean I feel like those are just I mean those aren't really it's not really games. You're not playing games, you're just playing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like when we played with real Legos and toys when we were a kid, you know. But they're just doing it in a digital world in a way that we always wish we can. But like at the same time, like I feel like there's a lot of kids that just don't like games with objectives, and like I wonder what kind of effect that's gonna have on the generation.
yeah. Well, and then conversely, they're experiencing now these indie games that derive from like the old school mentality, and I think in a lot of cases it's like blowing their minds, and you see a lot of indie successes come from like little kids really, who never played Mike Tyson's Punch Out and don't know what a hard game looks like.
Yeah,
They're like coming onto the scene, and but yeah, I mean Terraria did way better than anything, so my point is kind of moot.
yeah, totally. And I don't really like playing that game either. It was cool for like the first day or two I played it, and then I was like, there's no point.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no point in me playing this game.
that music gets inside your brain and just kind of like digs
Yeah, I
it
turned
out.
it off immediately.
Yeah. Blip, blip. Pop, 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 pop.
Um, but I like really hard games with like objectives, you
Yeah.
know, and like trying really hard to do them.
You like trying so hard, man. That is not
Yeah.
cool at all. I don't like to try.
Yeah.
Trying in video games. I can only play like Sims because you don't try.
Yeah, you don't play indie games. Oh, yeah, I know you play Secret of Mana sometimes, which is sweet.
Well, that's a try game, man. That game is hard.
Mhm.
Of course, it's not that hard. It's just if you take the. I was so used to playing like hold your hand kind of games. I wasn't like upgrading my equipment. And that's a fucking big thing in Secret of Mana. If you don't upgrade your armor, you die in one hit.
Yeah.
You know? So, Secret of Mana, I would say, is kind of like the Dark Souls of my generation.
Yeah, that's what made me want to do pixel art
Yeah.
originally at the time. Now I look back at it, it's ugly, but
Yeah, it's fucking hideous, man.
at the
Like,
time I was like, oh, it's beautiful.
oh, look at those lush trees that are the size of a man.
But a lot of games after that of the series.
Yeah,
were
like
really pretty.
Seiken Densetsu 3 had really good graphics. Legends of Mana, I say environmentally, I put up higher than anything.
Yeah, it's
but
amazing.
the character designs are really stupid.
Yeah, they are kind of stupid, but yeah, the
fair.
levels look so good. Have you played Sword of Mana for Game Boy Advanced? It was originally Final Fantasy Adventures on regular Game Boy, and then it was remade for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I played the regular Game Boy one. Not at all the same. I mean, it was similar. I did see Sword of Mana. I saw somebody playing it. It's pretty. I just there was that period of time, like that awkward teen phase with the PlayStation, where they were still making like really cool sprite-based animation, like Valkyrie Profile, and I mean, obviously Legends of Mana. Xenogears, where they were like mixing it in.
Mm-hmm.
I guess technically Dodgeball Time is now a Xenogears like because it has like 3D environments and 2D sprites.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that was like my favorite time in gaming because you could really see like people were really bending those pixels to their will.
Yeah, totally. I mean, doing some of that stuff is just like I feel like, oh man, I'll never be that good. It's crazy. But at the same time, I don't know if I really want to make stuff that looks like that. Like,
That's so try. You have to try so hard.
or like Metal Slug games. Like, how? Like, how do they do that? And like, how do they do all those animations? And it just seems like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's pixel art.
This is a good question from Punches Bears, and he's really just here. I don't know why. He's way more important than anybody, but he was asking you what your favorite game OST is, and I think that says a lot about a person because, like, actually, really, what it says is how old they are.
Yeah. I'm not like, I don't really love a lot of old chiptune music. Like, in fact, the chiptunes, I feel like I like it better what people are doing now with it.
Well, that's not fair. Because they have so much, like the tools are so much better now than they ever have been.
Totally. Yeah, it's not fair, but it's also just the reality.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like games are a lot better now than they used to be, but like also the tools are so much easier and we've learned a lot and we have a lot to learn from and compared to. But
yeah, but I don't think chiptunes, I don't think the NES era had like my favorite soundtracks. It had some cool soundtracks, but
yeah.
like SNES I think is where they started coming in and I was just like blown away.
Yeah, totally. Probably, I don't know, like FTL has really good soundtrack, Hotline Miami, like probably more modern games. I don't know, I turn the music off a lot in games and just listen to my own. Just crank up the sound effects.
You sit there and sip your tea and you're like, I did this better, and you flip on your own music.
Not
like
my own.
Your own
my
personal
own
music that you make.
Yeah.
You're like,
No,
you pre-write a soundtrack for the game that you're going to play, and then you sync it up.
No,
It's
I listen to
such a
my
fucked up
own
thing to do.
music library that's not music that I've made.
But what is that? Like, what kind of music are we listening to these days?
Uh, I don't know. Usually just experimental electronic music or
Oh,
ambient
that's
music.
so indie. You're just blowing
Yeah,
me away. Every
I
answer
can't
is just
help it.
so indie.
I really don't want to. I don't even. I didn't even want to answer that question, but it's the truth.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I listen to indie rock, which is like the opposite of indie.
uh I mean, yeah. I used to listen to indie rock when it was like cool.
Back when it was indie.
When I was in an indie band, so I was a lead singer in an indie band.
Oh
A-
yeah.
And there are some funny music videos of me somewhere, but I won't tell you the name of the band. Um,
It's probably like Beard Bun Jones.
Dude, I hadn't discovered the bun yet. I don't think.
Yeah, but you knew
Yeah,
it
I
was
knew.
happening.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Actually, Kira Blaster has a sweet soundtrack. I really like that, and some of the music in Downwell, and those are
Yeah.
like old music
And then
ish.
there's like Shovel Knight. I mean, like Jake Kaufman just
Yeah, that's really good.
really like watching the Famine Tracker YouTube videos that he did and seeing like how many layers. I mean, really, you only get like 5 layers, but seeing like how complex and technical everything is was really the reason why I just hung up Famine Tracker because I know I'm never gonna have that kind of patience.
Yeah.
But it's insane, and even more insane than that is that that would play on an NES like what do you call it, cartridge.
Hardware. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That soundtrack's really good. I actually really enjoyed that when I was playing it.
Really good is like it's like insanity. Like that's the one that I really like as far as new. But most of my favorite game music I think is probably from the SNES era because it was really melodic. You know, games now, AAA games especially, they don't go with melodic kind of music. They go with like environmental type music. You know, like Skyrim seamlessly
Hmm.
blends all their boring violin into the next. You know,
Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of like the songs that you're humming for the next year, which would be the Chrono Triggers and the Final Fantasy, the early Final Fantasies. I don't know anything about current Final Fantasies.
Yeah, me either. PB mentioned Bastion. Yeah, I really like that one too, actually. The sound in that game in general is really good. The sound design, the narration. Really enjoyed the audio in that game.
Did Red
Um,
Dead Redemption have music? All I remember is like
I don't know.
generic Western sounds and
I didn't play that.
cowboy hats. You can't tell me what to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired, man. Like, I'm not gonna be going to sleep for a long time, but my current schedule is like I
Don't sleep.
fall asleep like on the floor next to my daughter's bed when I'm trying to get her to go to sleep, but it's the only way that I can prevent her from like running amok. When, and she goes to sleep so late anyway.
Yeah.
But
Does she wake up super fucking early?
and she does, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
every time we think like, oh well, she's going to sleep at 11, so she'll sleep in. Nope, fucking 6:30 in the morning, she's coming in. She at least has the good sense to like. She takes my phone off my nightstand, crawls between us, and then lets us sleep while she watches videos on the phone. This is a 2-year-old,
Nice.
and she like finds YouTube videos, the same ones, and watches like the same
Over and
videos.
over. Um, yeah, my son just smacks me in the face and says, "Dad, Dad," and smiles like every morning at like 6 in the morning, and then goes over to my wife and then does it to her,
That's
and it
fucked
just
up.
goes back and forth. It just like climbs on our faces and says our names.
Says your names. Yes. They
Your
like the.
names. Your names.
Wait, do they really call you by your names?
No, just like dad and mom. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I
'Cause
have another name besides that. Yeah.
it's like Christoph. You know, like what are you doing?
Roberto.
Quit calling me my name. That would be weird. Like, I thought my daughter called me Michael once,
Mhm.
and she was really like talking about a bike or something. And I was like, "How did you learn that name?" And she looked like super concerned. Apparently, I was making like a really intense face, like, "You call me daddy, or we're fucking done."
I will not tolerate.
You will not call me by my real name. Because if that ever happened in public, like, everybody's judging. Like, this new age liberal child calling her parents by their names.
Yeah. Yeah, I live in a very new age liberal town, especially with parenting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are real weird. Real weird.
Yeah, about like food dyes.
Yep.
Like, oh, don't let your kid eat that. It's not organic and it has food dyes.
Yeah, that's my wife. That's my wife for you.
All that means is you're going to be buying food that's like 5 times more expensive than it needs to be.
Yeah, we buy all organic food.
Ugh.
Which makes everything harder.
Yeah, I mean,
some stuff is like not really any more expensive, and we like cook a lot from scratch. Like we make a whole chicken, and then we make bone broth out of it, and it's soup, and all that.
And then you chew on the bone for weeks.
Yeah. Get one bone for lunch.
Yes. I boiled this bone. I think I'm good. I feel like I'm making fun of it, but I'm not. I have complete ignorance about
bone broth.
Organic food. I live in Texas.
Yeah.
So a lot of food is organic, but if they put it on the package, I think people would
Nobody would buy it.
They would not buy it here. Like we get grass-fed steak and shit just because like that's everywhere.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
But if they put that on there, it would be like somehow not as good. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, in Illinois, I never knew what organic was until I moved out here. Like, no, that never came up. It was never really a thing.
What region are you living in?
So I live in Oregon now.
Okay, like near Portland?
Yeah, I'm about 2 hours south of Portland in a town called Eugene.
So they like, Eugene. Yeah, they like bleed down on you. You get some of their. It's not quite Portland, but
yeah, it's pretty different. I mean, like Portland's definitely like more like hipster with tattoos, where Eugene's more like hippies.
Oh yeah.
And hipsters without tattoos or something.
Tattooless, but once they level up and get tattoos, then they drive on up and they've got their own place ready for them.
Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't really like hippies, and like hippies bug me, but at the same time, like probably most people in other parts of the country would consider me one. I mean, I have long hair and a beard, and I sit on a yoga ball, and I eat organic food.
Yeah.
But like, I hate hippies.
I don't know. I mean, we got people with long hair and beards here, but
they're like Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, typically it's because they don't have time in between murdering animals indiscriminately. So, you could blend in. You basically just have to like puff out your chest, look confident.
You can't wear toe shoes.
Have like an undeserved air of confidence about you. And boots, cowboy boots are helpful.
Nice.
This is the second podcast I've talked about boots.
I got a pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah, me too.
Nice, I bet.
Yeah.
One for every day of the week, right?
Yeah, mine are like 40 or 50 years old.
So I just imagine, like, right in front of your door, you go to work, there's, like, different colored cowboy boots, and you just match them with your jeans, and then you put on one of 6 cowboy hats.
Yeah,
and you just, as you're eating your steak dinner, as you walk out the door.
Yeah, Jenny just said, I think you meant boops. But it's funny, because when she was correcting and, like, trying to overpronounce it, it still sounded like boops to me. No, boops.
Say peen.
Yeah, what is going on with the peen stuff?
I don't know. I don't know who started it.
I don't either, man.
It was me.
Of course it was. I'm not going to try my Scottish accent yet. It's pretty offensive.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. So, Brit is kind of your, stalker's success story, I would say. I mean, the whole reason you're here is because you successfully wore me down.
Yep. I made you my best friend.
Over the course, I think I said something a while back about me having open DMs, and then like every day he was sending me a selfie. I feel like we really know each other.
Yeah. And you were nice enough to write back.
I respond to everybody, man. Like,
I was surprised.
now people might not like my response because there are some people that ask me, like, I don't know if you ever get this, but it's like sometimes somebody will send me something and they'll say, like, will you do this for me? Like, will you help me in some way? Give me a retweet on my project or whatever. And it's like I never heard of them before that, and I'm more than willing to help anybody. If the first thing that they say to me isn't asking me for help, I'm a friendly guy most of the time, but like if you're just begging, like
Totally. And like I mean, I don't really have I'm bad at Twitter. I'm trying to get better, but I'm all about, retweeting stuff that I like and like my friends' stuff and people that I know stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of that is just like an automated message to anybody that like follows them or they follow, and it just like shoots them an email.
yeah,
You're like, "I'll retweet, my Kickstarter goes live."
yeah, and it's like 4 weeks expired.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They just turned it off because they killed themselves. Like,
Oh my god.
like, forever, everybody that follows them is gonna get that message and think that person's probably alive, but
Yeah,
they're not.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
really
but that's the thing. It's like you say you want to get better at social media, but really, like, there's one rule of social media, and it's like just be cool. Like, don't be a fucking spaz, and also make cool shit, or do something that somebody wants.
post stuff.
Because if you ever post something on Twitter or on Facebook, and you're like, I wouldn't care about this, then nobody else is going to care about it. So, like,
It's true.
make sure that everything that you do is something that somebody might glean entertainment from or think is cool. But, like, yeah, just fucking be cool. Like, calm down. Don't be a glint.
No, I can't. I'm too wild. I'm a wild bear. Yeah, I don't post very often, and I didn't post for a long time because I was just like, oh, nobody likes me. I don't have any 1,000 followers immediately.
I had, a year ago I had 100 followers. And then I tweeted like a chicken, and Simon from Yogscast retweeted it, and I had like 1,000 followers like the next day.
Nice.
So that does happen. It's just, you have to position yourself by posting things people want to see. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. You could also do it by telling like the world's dumbest jokes.
Yeah, I need to just like, well, I'm like working on a Game Maker game at night by myself, trying to learn programming. I need to just figure out how to like write text and then like put it next to a portrait, and then I can just make it say dumb stuff like you, and then I'll just tweet that all the time.
Dumb stuff like me.
I'm just kidding.
Everything I say, I'm like
It's hilarious.
calculating. I write in a Word document, and then I have people edit it for me. So when there are typos, which is like every other one, it's calculated
Nice. Just the right amount of typos
to look
though.
natural,
Yeah. Yeah, those are always fun to look at though, because when you just make a character say stuff like pains.
I don't think I've done that one yet, but I could do it in about 5 minutes. The first thing I do whenever I start making a game is I set up a dialogue system so that
Nice.
I can, have people say peens.
Nice. I'll retweet it instantly.
If you want me to send you my Game Maker dialogue system, I'm not using it for anything. I can send that to you if you want it.
Sure.
But
yeah, I'd like to check it out.
The one that I use
I haven't
for
like
Chicken
messed
Sword.
with any of that stuff at all yet. Really, like text.
Yeah, actually, I have a really good tutorial, and I might post it later. But
Nice.
it's done by somebody whose name I'm forgetting. I'd like to give a plug, but I don't remember. yeah, it's gone. But it's like shockingly easy to make really cool like wavy text in Game Maker, and it's
Yeah.
just absurdly hard to do it in Unity, and I'm not sure why. Like,
Do you just use like a sine wave or something?
yeah, basically because you have granular control over your letters in Game Maker, but in Unity it's all three dimensional, so they don't really.
Hmm.
And plus they anti-alias the shit out of it, and it just looks terrible.
Hmm.
I tried to make my own, but then people were like bitching at me because it would have been basically impossible to localize to whatever weird country they live in.
Hmm. Yeah, Colin, who I made Charge Shot with, he always does such cool stuff in Game Maker, and can just like do anything with text. He can just make it like be like a blob and swirl around and rotate in and almost look 3D and like mash together and change colors and then smear and everything.
And then the words have sex with other words, and it's like real cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, he does it.
That's what sex looks like. I'm doing like a weird. It's like a squid or something. I know a lot about sex. I've had sex.
I just now get it. I just got the video on the delay.
I've had sex literally twos of times.
Yeah, it looks like a squid pumping ink into the water.
Yes.
Which is what sex looks like.
Yeah, it's like the old rave dancers that they did all the stuff with their hands, like the wave type stuff, and it's like that's what sex is. At least that's what and my wife has gotten pregnant twice now, so
nice. So it works.
Either what I'm doing is working, right, or somebody else is doing it the right way, and I have real problems. But
yeah, my sperm works too good.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like we planned everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife was on birth control or whatever. And we were like, okay, well, let's have a kid. And then, like, the first time we had sex, she's pregnant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the first time we tried, I'm pretty sure, was the time that it worked.
And then it was like, okay, well, let's do it again. And let's really, like, enjoy it this time. And, it's like the first fucking time again.
But I have an older son, too, who's 11. And I was 17. And it was my first girlfriend, so my first time I ever had sex. I'm pretty sure I also got somebody pregnant.
That's fucking scary shit, man. And how fucked up is that? Like, let's think for a second about the nature of like special propagation across where it's like the greatest thing that can happen to a species as they like continue to create young that survive. But that's like the worst thing that can happen to a human. We should be very extinct by now because we are just like totally opposed to pregnancy, and like nobody wants to help you. They look down on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm just doing what animals are supposed to do.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, like people who don't have kids, which is like most people that I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all like, I don't want kids. And like they just think it's like this really weird foreign thing.
You know what it is?
When it's like the most basic thing that we can do.
They're not doing like the squid move, so they don't know. They don't know how good it is.
Yeah, they don't know how the squid move. Yeah,
that's how you do it. It's every time 100% success rate.
Yeah, if you do the squid move, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I should go to fertility clinics and ask them if they're really trying all options. You really have to squeeze the grapefruit.
And
Just
get that squid ink in there.
Yes, you just blast it off. Somebody's crying. We've upset somebody, or made them laugh. I don't know. It's impossible. Sometimes I wonder if people actually like any of this. Like, why are we doing this?
It's the podcast or
the podcast. Yeah, I guess you probably like it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's just I like you so much. We're like best friends.
Oh God. And then the creepy sets in.
Finally, I'm on here. It works.
I'm here, and I forgot everything I was gonna say. And And then you
No,
pan the camera down, and it's like hearts with our names in it.
there's just a Mig shrine.
Yeah, you've got our initials carved on a tree outside.
BFFs.
That used to be a thing. That was like a Disney fantasy thing in like the 80s, is that everybody was carving hearts into trees.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think they do that anymore. It's probably illegal.
No, they just post a picture of it on Tumblr that they made in Photoshop.
Yeah. And it's like I Heart Zach Braff, like real dated references.
I wonder, is this podcast with us like less about game dev than the other ones?
Not
Are they
really.
getting more and more less about game dev?
Well, originally it wasn't going to be about game dev at all. When I started, it was just going to be me and my co-host, who was the experienced podcaster. Who, like, if you've heard the first few episodes, he's a real good voice for a podcast. I don't. I kind of sound like weird and hollow. Like I'm not a real human. I'm pretending to talk like a human because this isn't my real accent.
I'm surprised you don't sound more like a Texas person.
Yeah, I should. I really should. And around my family, I do.
Are you real?
Yeah, there's a very real chance that I'm not. But sex dev.
What happened to your co-host?
He died in a helicopter crash. Yeah, he actually just got busy. I mean, he's like in his 40s or something, I think, and he got a different job where he had like a few hour commute. And, you know, time with his family was precious. I think he has like 6 kids. And that's what happened. But he had a way, I mean, his podcast voice just puts mine to shame. He's like, yeah, man, everything I say sounds way more exciting. You know, and when I talk, it's like a ghost from the past. It's trying to get through the barrier.
Yeah, I don't know what I sound like, but I probably will skip this one when I'm working out, to be honest.
You sound just like a fucking indie.
Good.
All you indies sound the same.
Your man buns.
You're all like, play it cool, old man. Play cool. Play cool.
I just need to shave the side of one side of my head.
Yeah, I mean, really.
That's all I'm missing, right?
If you did, they would.
Make money.
It wouldn't do. It wouldn't hurt your career. Let me just put it that way. But I don't know if that goes with a beard or not. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with a side shave and a beard. Now, you might try just shaving one side of your beard.
Oh, my God.
You never see that. Like asymmetrical beard hair.
And people will remember me. They'll be like the guy that had one side of his beard shaved.
Yeah, and then Sandy has like 2 earrings, which is just as cool. But he has like a 90s haircut. I don't even know how he affords that in a modern times.
Yeah, I see. I can't afford a haircut.
just do what they do in all the fucking like old flicks with the empowered women, where they just cut their hair with a knife, and it's fine. Like, be Mulan, basically.
Yeah, I want to be Mulan. I can't even afford to brush my hair. Oh, there, let's just drape it over the
You're
head.
fucking channeling Rob Zombie, something fierce right now.
Dude, I made Slain.
Or
Sorry.
or fucking
fun of that
guy. Yeah, dude, this guy, he's gonna come to my house one day.
Yeah. He's like, you and all your friends, all your best friends.
Like, that was a total, like, Jonathan Davis moment. But that was like all those guys during that time. They all had that black hair. Everybody doing like sort of hard rock at that time had like long black hair. And
yeah, see, I look really metal, but I'm not. Like, my hair is just that color.
I accidentally have dark hair.
I accidentally look metal.
Yeah. Anyway. So what are you working on right now? I'm still talking game dev. This was all just a transition. My transitions are impeccable.
Today I was working on music and sound effects for Punches Bears game.
Yeah. How does that go?
I just started messing with that. So
just started. So
Oh.
you don't even. Why are you even mentioning it?
I don't know, because that's what I did today. It was fun.
Are you gonna do it like super dorky, like doop 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 doo, doo doo doo?
No, he wants it all badass and serious because he's like serious
What
indie
a
dev now.
what a serious person he is.
His game, have you seen his game? It's so serious. Um, let's see. I'm doing some contract work right now for a mobile VR game where I'm doing low poly models, and it's all like crafty. So like, there's like and paper and cardboard textures and like buttons on the trees, and that's really fun.
Yeah, like Woolly World type shit.
Yeah. That's I think it's gonna be called Bombs Away. So I think it's like a remake of like an old mobile game that he made,
It's
but
like
for
a hair.
VR.
It's a game about like hair care. It's BALMS.
It's no, it's BAAMS because there's sheep that you blow up.
No, bams away.
But no, that's really fun. It's sweet. I'm working on this kind of Mega Man cave story Kirby-ish game and Game Maker trying to program.
Uh huh.
I'm waiting to. We just got done porting Charge Shot to Android TV stuff, and I'm gonna do something with Colin, but we can't decide because that's a really hard thing. It's like, what's the second game you make?
Well, if you ever need a consult, I know a lot of ideas, guys.
Oh God. So yeah, I mean, me and Colin say like, oh yeah, let's make this game like every week.
Like a massively multiplayer, like
Stealth
dating
a
fire
stealth MMO.
cult. Yeah.
So it's stealth MMO, and like you never know if anybody's on or not.
Yeah, there's no people. That would save a lot on bandwidth. It's the greatest stealth game ever. You just false report numbers that there are millions of people playing, and you just can't see them because they're so good.
Uh-huh. And you make millions of dollars.
Yes. $1 million. That's my goal. If I made $1 million, I'd probably quit my job. So, for anybody listening, like...
If you want to give me $1 million, yeah, I don't know. I'm doing contract work. I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff this year. I definitely want to make another game with Colin as Cowboy Color, which is I guess our thing, our name.
What color is a cowboy?
Pink.
Pink.
According to the pixel art logo I made.
That
I'm
ain't
pretty
right.
sure that's the color.
I know cowboys in real life, and
Oh, they're pink. They're yellow. They're yellow.
well, let me tell you a thing or two about how I acquired this here shade of pink on my skin. No, it'd just be
Sunburn.
the ginger cowboys would be pinkish,
Yeah, totally.
but they probably would gravitate towards different careers when they get cancer or whatever.
At a very young age.
Yeah. Turn on the old Western charm.
Yeah. I don't know. Second games are hard. You know, it's like, okay, we made one, and like now we need to make another one, but like we want to have money.
Have you considered doing like? Now this is like a whole new thing. Just like prepare your mind. Like animal weapon.
It's like a frog sword or a chicken sword.
Yeah, the weapon has to be a sword also.
Sword plus eight, so it'd be like a pug sword.
Pug sword, penguin gun.
Oh, penguin gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you have a name like that that's so stupid and people have such limited expectations, if you add anything outside the realm of what you have in the title, people are just shocked and surprised. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and penguin gun, you also had a knife. It's amazing. The
Yes.
game looks amazing.
I know, and there was like, you could like bring flowers to a girl and she would marry you and move into a house.
Nice. So that sounds like it would sell right now.
Yes, a penguin dating sim, but she
Yeah,
dates
dating sims.
human women with large
Yeah.
breasts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you can just combine dating sim with some sort of action genre right now.
And the penguin is also a girl, so you got the Portland vote.
Oh shit.
I'm the best ideas guy. Just an infinite font of creativity. Using the word font.
Oh. Yeah, dating sims. Dodgeball dating sims.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. Is, when I started making a dodgeball game, originally I was just making a dodgeball game, but I'm incapable of doing that apparently. So now it's like,
A 3D dodgeball game.
it's like a dodgeball RPG sim with a lot of co-op stuff. It's got a lobby and a town that you can hang out with your buddies in.
So is it only co-op or can it be versus too?
The versus is just you could play versus. We're not devoting a whole lot of time to doing like tournament type shit for versus, which would be really cool. But it's like when you get down that rabbit hole, you have to focus more on like anti-cheat than you do on making the game good.
Yeah, totally.
And so there will be like 8 people connect and they can play them against each other if you want to do that. But I think the majority of time that I'm spending right now is on a single player / co-op campaign.
Nice.
And with a lot of character recruitment, got that Suikoden influence.
Nice.
Where you beat a team, you have a chance. Somebody on that team wants to be your friend, and then you can use them in a future tournament. So it's like way more intense and in depth than a dodgeball game should be.
And Chicken Sword was just a game about hitting things with your sword.
Yeah, but not really. It was never really that. It was like
laying eggs.
It was more like a Zelda-like.
Nice. But it started out as a platformer, right?
Yeah.
And then you switched.
Yeah, it was a Zelda 2-like at that point because I had the overworld map.
Nice.
But which is the best Zelda? Says nobody.
Says the guy who made Elliot's Quest.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Zelda 2, like.
It's like a Zelda 2.
It's like a Zelda 2, like.
It's an RPG game.
RPG game.
It's a game about RPG games. What? Anyway, I got nothing else.
Yeah. I think we're burning out all the fuel.
Yeah, we got to save some for the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll have like a real solid project going on.
So again, if you didn't follow at Tit Brady at the beginning, you're probably asleep by now. But if you aren't, then you should do that now because he needs to be more famous for his beardly activities. We didn't really talk about the beard situation. I know everybody's very disappointed in me.
Yeah, it just kind of grows on my face.
Yeah.
It's like real coarse.
No, like everything, I was talking about myself.
Oh yeah, your beard, it's gone.
Mine fell off in the shower. I was washing it. I ran out of adult, so I started using baby body wash, and my beard just fell right off. It was disgusting. There was so much blood.
Oh my god!
But
and then it dripped down on my pube.
Like anything, this is a story full of half-truths. And you get to determine which part is the truth.
Are you sure it wasn't just like your wife was like, I don't like it?
No, I'm pretty sure it was the baby. I'm pretty sure it was the baby body wash that I washed myself with today.
Did it burn?
Why would it burn?
No, I guess it wouldn't. It would be
what the fuck?
sensitive.
What do you think they do to babies, man? Like, okay, so let's talk about this, because this is more important than game dev. All right, No More Tears shampoos. Do they test that on babies, man? Like, you think they got a bunch of babies on a line, and they, like, spray shit in their eyes, and if their eyes get all red, they're like, no. They just throw them on the pile.
It's not organic.
I mean, there's lots of organic shit that would kill a baby if you put it in its eyes. Organic just means carbon-based, right? So
I don't think they. I think they just like put in a bunch of individual ingredients, and they're like, "Oh yeah, these have been tested. They're fine."
So you don't think that there's actually somebody like some
Spraying
scientist
babies
that puts like an eyedropper full of liquid in a baby's eye and then just like stares at it.
for a real long time.
Yeah, like what are these parents doing that are giving these babies to these test lines where they test all these baby shampoos?
Drugs.
Or even worse, they're doing it with like baby animals.
Yeah.
Like a puppy. They use like puppies and they spray shit in their eyes and they're like, "Do you like it? Is this okay?" And the puppy's like, "No."
They
They're
just
like,
spray it in baby pugs' eyes because their eyes are like mostly out of their head anyway, so it's just like easy access.
they're like, "Holy shit! This gave the dog the ability to speak, but its eyes all red. So throw it on the fire." Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Let's wrap up with that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't say this enough. You should follow me as well if you don't. At WTF Mig. I'm Miguelito, the surprisingly non-Hispanic person. And I'll catch y'all next time. Adios.